Hey friends, welcome to day 75. 75. So we are 15 days from being done here, which means it's 15 days basically till 2020. How crazy is that?
Seems unreal.
It does. It means we should really get busy. I've sort of been calling this stepping into 2020 on the right foot, so I guess we better get prepared, huh?
Mm-hmm. Better now than in 16 days.
That's true. Today was an off day from the prayer challenge. I hope that you guys have been a part of that. I hope you've been reading along and keeping up with what it is that we've been doing. And that will end in what, 3 days, 4 days? 4 days.
4 days.
So it ends on Thursday.
Yeah.
So the big day, the 40 days will be done. And
doesn't mean that you'll stop. It just goes over and over.
Right. So you've done that twice this year.
Mm-hmm.
So,
yeah.
So you don't have to stop the 40-day prayer challenge at the end of 40 days. You can just keep going. But today was an off day. So we've taken every Sunday off throughout the course of the prayer challenge. And today was another great day at church. Had a great sermon. Pastor Stephen was talking to us about fear and doubt and what do you do when the picture doesn't look like what you thought it was going to look like?
That's a good question. It was an awesome service, and I've listened to it twice.
It was really, this is not the first time he's preached about Joseph in the story of Mary and Joseph and Jesus. And he brought up a point today that I've thought about a little bit, but I've never really had anybody else talk about it. But he talked about the fact that when Mary got pregnant with Jesus from the Holy Spirit, she knew it was the Holy Spirit because she knew she had never been with a man. But on the other hand, Joseph didn't know. He had to trust. He had to believe. He had to walk in faith. And you can only imagine how difficult that could be at different times.
It'd be really tough.
Exactly. And there are times in our marriage that there are things that we don't know, things that we have to trust. It's like sending your kid off to their biological parent whenever they're on visitation weekends and stuff. You don't know what goes on there, but you have to believe and trust that that child is going to be safe, that they know what you've taught in your home, that they have enough understanding that they're going to make good choices.
And you have to have the faith that they're going to be able to talk to you if things are not happening the way that they should. Mm-hmm. We've had that experience, and we had to make hard choices in taking one out of the situation. So that was hard. It was hard for everybody involved. Mm-hmm. But in the long run, it was the right thing to do.
Mm-hmm. So as we get closer to Christmas, the story of Mary and Joseph and what they went through in their quote-unquote blended family, I mean, you can sort of call it that. Joseph was Jesus' stepdad. He wasn't Jesus' biological dad. So...
best and worst stepdad job ever.
Yeah. Those of us that are step parents, we have to live with the knowledge that we will never stack up to the biological parent in some form and in some fashion. And that's like an earthly person that's flawed and has all the problems. I mean, if you were a step parent and the person on the other side was God, it might be a little intimidating.
Takes that. I'm going to tell my dad.
Yeah.
To a whole nother level.
Yeah. Go ahead. He already knows.
Yep. He hasn't struck me down.
Right. But Joseph also lived it out. I mean,
yeah.
He loved Jesus and cared for him as best we can tell in reading the text, that he taught him his trade. Mm-hmm. And, that's what we're called to do. We're called to love these kids as our own and to teach them in the way that we want our kids to grow. And there shouldn't be a big gap between the two. Your biological children and your stepchildren should be getting the same response. Now, that sometimes is easier said than done. I mean, we all are human and we all have our flaws, and so sometimes it comes out different.
Well, and that's what I was going to say is sometimes you have to, whenever you're the biological parent, you have to be able to help facilitate that, because like for us, my two understand whenever I go into my just do it mode, then they know what to do. But for the three blondes, whenever I go in to do it, then they just kind of freak out because that's not wired in them like it is in the other two. So Rockford has had to on occasion say, look, you've got to do it different because this is how it hits me and they're so much like me. You've got to do something different. So even if you're trying to do exactly like you would do with your biological kids, you have to take into consideration that they may not have that same personality trait, or they may not understand your tone. That's my thing that I get a lot is the words are not bad, but the tone has to be different.
Tone makes me want to jump off a bridge.
So,
but I'm the same way. I mean, when I deal with the three blondes, if I speak firmly, it doesn't crush their spirit because that's part of how they're wired. When I do with the other two, there are times it crushes them. And it's not because I'm being overly mean, but whenever I'm firm, it strikes them different. And so it's a two-way street. It is not that one person is better than the other or one parent is better than the other. It's that our kids are genetically molded to us and not to our step. And that's a hard thing to learn. It's taken us nearly a decade to figure that part out. And there are a lot of people and good people that are doing things the best they can that they intentionally stay away from step-parent, I don't know if discipline's the right word. A lot of people stay away from step-parent discipline, but leadership, sort of taking on more of a parental type role. And one thing that we have tried to do is say, look, we're a family. You may not have been born with both of us, but you are with both of us, and we will treat all of you equally. And so there are times that it takes a little bit of learning to get to that point.
Yeah, and one of the things that we did 4 or 5 years ago was we did the love languages with the kids to find out how to speak their love language. And that helped some, but it also helped them as siblings to interact better as well. But we also sat down with the kids and we talked to them all and said, do you feel like we treat you all the same? And some said yes, some said no. And then Reagan, she's always been wise beyond her years, she said no, because we're not all the same. We need different things. And so she's kind of always gotten it, that it's just like he said. He can say something to Thomas or to Allison and it may infuriate them or may just shut them down, which is not healthy either, because if you're just shutting down constantly, you're not ever going to get past that point. And then vice versa. I may say something and it may infuriate or it may cause the just shutting down.
So that was sort of a long explanation talking about how Joseph is Jesus' stepdad and how they had to live in this same type of environment. Joseph and Mary and Jesus had the same types of issues as a step family that we do. And they had certain advantages. I mean, Jesus was perfect, so none of our kids are quite there yet.
Neither are we.
Well, maybe.
Neither are we.
Well, that's true. Both flawed. But you know what? God has been good to our family. And it's going to be an incredible year in 2020. We're looking forward to it. And so we're going to push forward, and we'll be ready to step into 2020 on the right foot. And, you know, God's going to do good things. Mm-hmm. So,
do you have some B-roll from the week for the people?
Well, I had hoped to have some more. I've got a few little snippets. I've got a little bit from when you guys went to Charlotte.
Yeah.
A little bit in the airport, and a little bit of the elevation. And we've got the high school band playing over at Old Fashioned Country Christmas the other day. So a little bit about the week. We're still trying to get everybody educated on shooting video and how to get, you know, sort of a flow and tell a story with it. So we've got a few little things. We'll put those in here as we talk. And tomorrow will be day 37 in the prayer challenge, and it is prayer contracts. So we'll figure out what a prayer contract is. Tomorrow is also the high school band's Christmas concert. So we'll be doing some there. We'll be, excuse me, I was getting choked up. We will have the concert that we'll be at. They do their court, I think, King and Queen court this time last year. Jaden was crowned band queen.
Band queen, yeah.
And so that'll be fun. My dad and my stepmom will be here. It's my dad's 82nd birthday, so hopefully we'll get some time to go out and enjoy him. And so we're looking forward to having them here. So
my folks should be up as well. And I'm going to attempt to get some video of the whole Todd squad in the eye doctors, because that's happening tomorrow afternoon too, which is usually a whole afternoon of shenanigans, because they fit us all in, and by the end we're all 6 or 7 in one room, and they're trying to explain to us the different frames and all of that. That's usually some drama.
Should be fun.
Lots of fun.
So come back tomorrow, day 76. We'll be ready to talk about prayer contracts and see a little high school Christmas concert music. So we'll see you guys tomorrow, day 76. Have a good night.